Hello and welcome to yet another interesting session with RJ Sudha on Tamizh Suvai and Radio Mirchi 1310. As you can see, Tamizh Suvai as well as me, RJ Sudha, the host and founder of Tamizh Suvai Radio. We seem to be busy with so many interviews, so many back-to-back Q&A sessions. Now that COVID is finally kind of slowing down, at least in some parts of America and some parts of India, we thought we should, and some of the events are also opening up. We are trying to have more and more events, open air and outdoor events in the US and also in India. Last week, just maybe a couple of days back, we spoke about the governor recall elections in California. That's a very big, impactful interview that we had with the India Current's founder, Ms. Vandana Kumar, that had a very large impact in the Deshi community. Yet another interview that we are going to be having today is with Narika Foundation. Narika, as you can see, before that, I just like to take a few steps back and talk about the Tamizh Suvai Radio. As I told you already, Tamizh Suvai Radio, week after week and time after time, we have been bringing up some very impactful interviews that gives you some tools to navigate through the society, to this community, and help you, gives you the tools that will empower you, especially in this case when it comes to Narika, empowering women. In fact, Tamizh Suvai also has a Empower Me Up page, Facebook page. It's not just a Facebook page, but it also has a very intimate effect on women, where we do one-on-one counseling with women to help them come on board, help them job opportunities, financial opportunities, and we connect them with the experts, etc. Narika, we're doing that out of my own experience, my own passion, my own helpful tendency to help women on board. But Narika is a 501c nonprofit organization founded in 1992 that supports survivors of domestic violence, primarily from the South Asian immigrant community. Narika provides free and confidential case management, legal and housing support, job training, wellness programs, support groups, food assistance, and lot more. In about 2 weeks, on actually 19th, they have our biggest annual event to help drive support for survivors who have faced abuse during the COVID period. Sonya Mittal is going to be joining us with us. Very promising. She's done so much. She's extremely busy. I can tell from the past few days that she's been organizing this event. And she's going to be joining us, telling us not just about the event itself, but also about a little bit of history about Narika. Welcome to Tamizh Suvai Radio on Radio Mirchi 1310. Sonya, how are you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for having me.
Sure. I'd like to talk about Sonya, and then she will be talking about Narika also. Sonya is a community engagement lead at Narika, where she leads outreach projects to raise awareness on domestic violence and help survivors reach Narika. She's also committed to empowering young people to understand healthy relationships and boundaries. Welcome again, Sonya. If you can tell us about Narika and the goal behind it, that'll be nice.
Absolutely. So Narika has been around, as you said, for almost 30 years at this point, since 1992. And we really were founded by our immigrant women because we noticed the rise in South Asian population here and immigrant population in general. But at the same time, domestic violence services weren't matching that pace and offering South Asian language, domestic violence advocacy, or immigration resources for survivors. And given the profound cultural differences that can exist in our community, as well as the difficulty of immigration, it was very important to them that an organization begin that is absolutely dedicated to this community, as well as all communities, of course, but especially the South Asian community in the Bay Area. So Narika provides completely free and confidential wraparound domestic violence services like case management, like legal support, housing support, job training, especially wellness programs, support groups, and many more, all to support any survivor's journey towards long-term empowerment.
Wonderful. I do recall a Tamil movie that was taken way back to the 1970s, where the newly married bride lands in some part of East Coast. She's married to a guy who already seemed to be having an affair with a white woman, and he just marries her because of family pressure. And when she comes here, she realizes that he seems to be avoiding her. Whenever she comes home, he's avoiding her, and she goes through this trouble, and she doesn't realize that. She doesn't realize that he's having another parallel life till she actually encounters this man with another woman. Till then, she assumes that he's just busy with office work. And once she comes to know, then some other Indian man comes to help her, and etc. So this is way back in 1970s when it was again the East Coast when there was no help at all. We are talking about the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, when you have so much of help here. So I'm glad that Narika has stepped up to help the South Asian women to go through all these things, to go through any kind of domestic violence, direct or indirect, implied or implicit or explicit, to help them get on board and be independent, etc. And hats off to Narika and your team. Thanks for that.
Of course, thank you. Yeah, that's a really great example, and it's something that's very common here. Is say a new wife will move here and maybe has only just met her husband a few times, and she doesn't know the resources here. She doesn't know how immigration works. She's completely alone, doesn't have many members of her community, and her family is very far away. So that's just prime condition for a domestic violence relationship to occur, wherein maybe the husband, or it could be the wife as well, it does happen in both cases, exerts power and control, lies about immigration status, physically abuses or verbally abuses the women or whoever is the victim, and makes it difficult for them to get help because they're new to this place. So it's absolutely something that Narika is well equipped to help, because we know these trends, and we also know the cultural stigma, the shame around divorce. We know the challenges of immigrant life and fear of law enforcement, all of these things that exist in our community historically and in South Asia itself. So that's why it's really important that we have this culturally responsive support.
As you rightly said, it need not be physical abuse. It could also be mental abuse, verbal abuse as well. So it takes a long time for a woman to realize that the verbal abuse is also a kind of an abuse, and it can bring down her her morale, and it's some kind of a gaslighting, as they call it these days, right?
Of course, yeah, absolutely, not just physical. There's quite a range, and it can happen for many, many years.
Yes. Sonya, I know we talked about this upcoming big event and on the 19th of September. Could you tell us more about that, and how can people register for that?
Yeah, absolutely. We're super excited. It's Narika's biggest event, and it happens every year. Last year it was virtual, and we're really excited that this year it's going to happen in person at the beautiful Wente Vineyards in Livermore.
Right.
It's going to be very safe. It's outdoors, socially distanced, and we have a vaccine requirement to enter, all compliant with Alameda County guidelines. All of our staff will be masked and vaccinated. And it'll just be a great time to celebrate Narika's hard work, especially through the pandemic, and to help gather resources and support Narika in future, given the immense caseload that we're seeing in terms of domestic violence cases in the Bay Area as a whole. So I definitely encourage you to sign up. You can do that at payb.io/@Narika. That's the @ Narika. Or you can just go to narika.org and you'll find all the information there as well.
Okay, there should be a link to go and register. Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of fun can one expect from registering? After once they register, what kind of fun activities can they expect from this event?
Yeah, there's going to be a really great auction. We've got amazing paintings, exclusive paintings from A.V. Elango, the famous A.V. Elango, as well as his mentee Priya Pattatil. So she's also going to have some great works there. Travel packages.
I want to stop here and give a big shout out to Priya.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she's amazing. She won second prize at one of the recent art contest, and she's also a childhood friend of mine. A huge shout out to Priya for her for the gallery of art pieces that she has done. I mean, it's not just one or two.
Amazing.
I mean, Elango sir also, I met him before, and he has come on my show, and I personally met him at her place. The display, the work, each piece of art that he and Priya have come together and done, it is just mind blowing. Just mind blowing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just spellbinding and amazing, well, curated art too, that honestly quite represents the work that we do. So we're really excited for that. There's also going to be a huge bazaar, and you can buy other trinkets and paintings there. And then we'll have entertainment and performances as well that are really exciting. And it'll just be a huge party, great food as well, and wine.
Very nice, very nice. From what I learned, this gala event is going to be about raising funds for the COVID-affected women, right? Tell us about that. How has your organization been affected by COVID?
Yeah, so it's been a startling time for our organization. We've had our highest client caseload ever last year, and we're on set to beat that, or may have already actually beat that this year, and we're not even done with 2021. So a lot of our survivors have been stuck in lockdown, and they've been stuck with their abusers, unable to make a phone call for help in peace, for example. The additional pressures and barriers surrounding immigration slowdowns, court slowdowns, as well as loss of employment, which has been on the rise, increase in alcohol and substance abuse as well. All of these are a perfect storm for domestic violence to increase, and not only just frequency, but severity as well. So we've had almost a tripling in helpline calls to our organization.
Frequency of abuse,
Yeah, absolutely. It's just awful in every way. And so our survivors really need your support. We need everyone to just talk about this issue, reach out and help each other, and come together and support all of the hard work we're doing, because it's the long-term effects are set to continue for many, many years. The setback on women in general will continue for many years, and all of this abuse will have a rippling effect in terms of families and communities affected.
Of course. What's the purpose of Narika in this case? Are you trying to educate the families, or are you trying to make women more independent, or are you trying to make women more aware of the fact that she's being abused, or all of them together?
Yeah, absolutely. All of them together. I would say our central goal is really to empower women, or any victim as well, given that men can be victims in abusive relationships as well. But the vast majority are women, and we do want to empower them. And that means helping them see the options before them, see that they're not alone, see that they're not victims, that they can take control of their futures and see their dreams come true, whether that's through separation or not even separation, or finding a new job and their own financial stability, starting life again, if that's what they wish. It's not about tearing families apart or even advocating for women or men specifically. It's just to create healthier communities free of abuse, and empowering everyone to understand abuse so that it doesn't occur.
I agree. I think they have to men have to consciously be aware that the lives of women are being taken for a ride, and it's taking a toll on their lives. Many women are also working, and so facing each other all day in and day out, doing housework, doing office work, taking care of the kids, cooking all the time. Everything can be frustrating for the woman, and I'm sure, I think with a lot of education, the family can understand each other. The family dynamics can change with better education on how they can understand each other.
Absolutely. It really is one of those issues that affects us all. It affects extended family. It affects more than just the two people involved. It affects children. It affects your performance at work and at school, and our communities, all of our friends and family. It's not something that should be treated as something that should be hidden away or kept private. It's something that takes all of us to address, and that we should all speak about candidly and make sure it's not happening to those that we love, because if it is and you find out years later, it's the saddest thing in the world.
Yeah, and when you put it inside, it sometimes can blow up in a bigger dimension later on.
Yeah.
How can common people like me, my neighbor, anybody else can support Narika? In what ways can we support?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you asked. There's many ways to help. I mean, you can donate on our website at narika.org/support, or just attend this event if you want to basically support by having a party that's coming up this weekend on Sunday.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and you can volunteer, you can get trained. We have our amazing domestic violence advocate trainings, which are really great for anyone who wants to just learn more about domestic violence, its history, its impacts, how it affects immigrants, how to help. All of those things are in that training. And we have our next cohort coming up very soon. All of that is on our website. you can definitely, I would also just recommend just talking to people about this, like come meet with us, partner with us, host an event, or just speak to your friends and family about the issue so they know who we are. And if that way, you know, someone who needs help, they know how to reach us.
Sounds good. Any closing comments, Sonya?
Yeah, I would just say if you're listening or watching and you want to help a friend, or you fear that you might be in a situation that could be constituted as domestic violence, you're not sure, you're kind of afraid to even think of the topic, and you just want to ask someone for advice or understand what abuse is, please reach out to us, email us at narika.org, or visit our website, narika.org. Call our helpline at 1-800-215-7308. Just get in touch with us. We'll be happy to help you, whatever your situation is.
Great. Thank you very much. And thanks for the work you and your team is doing for the South Asian women. Thanks again.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.